guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun wide trip sweep. Pros X go. On one. Ready?
Ready.
What's going on, everyone? ACAP24 here from HuddleGG. In today's video, we're going to talk about a red zone play that I'm using a lot more lately, becoming one of my favorites because of the ability to beat pretty much all coverages inside, the red zone, whether you're inside the 5, inside the 10, a little bit outside the 10, something that I like for a lot of the setups that we're doing for this. So I want to kind of show you that. I do like it out of empty, but this route combination can be duplicated in other formations, and I want to make sure that you understand that. So it's going to be the gun empty Steeler cross. And before I get into the play, I want you to look at the play art. I want you to look at the middle receiver on the left. It is a seam route. I've taught this concept before, but I love that route because it does give us quick options against cover 2 and cover 3. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that the backside of that also beats cover 2, cover 3 if the user jumps it, but also beats cover 4 drop, because that is a popular way to play defense in the red zone, just to get as many players in that area to make it congested. And we want to talk about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab it. And we're going to start off with cover 3. What you should notice is that there you got one high safety, right here, McCourty. You don't see a second high safety. The guy's in the middle of the field. So that's going to usually tell you it's going to be either man coverage, like cover 1, or it's cover 3. And typically speaking, you can kind of tell that up by depending on how close they are to the receivers, whatever the case is. But with cover 3, what we're going to do is it's going to be the same setup for everything inside basically the 10-yard line. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the X on a smart routed out. We're going to take the Y, leave him on a seam, put the A in motion, put him on a zig. And you can see right there that nobody followed him. So you can know that it's not man coverage anymore. You can see basically that the guy's shifted over. It's going to indicate mostly that's going to be zone. We're going to put the RB on a slant and the B on this fade. Now, the fade is probably one of the most important routes. That doesn't look like it would be, but it's a stutter fade. Inside the 10, that guy's going to do a little bit of a delay route, right? That's going to keep the player in the outside, and the defense is going to read him as if he's a threat to the outside, and that's going to make those curl flats, cloud flats, and hard flats get more wide, and that's going to help us with our backside option. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is just look at our Y receiver. I love this formation because the Y is actually outside the numbers, making this throw a lot easier. And you're going to notice that against cover 2 and cover 3, this route is just going to be a quick hitter to the inside, right? You catch, throw, you're good to go. It's really a route that, depending on what coverage they're in, they're really going to have to sell out to stop it, which is going to help us with our backside option. Obviously against cover 3, I'm just going to back this up just a little bit more, just so you can see that it's going to work not only at the 2-yard line, but it's going to work basically everywhere, right? So I'm going to make sure that you see this against just as you back up. This is your first option against cover 3. He's going to go in. You're going to be able to throw that ball pretty easily right at that spot. Again, they're going to have to sell out for it. Okay, now let's get a little bit closer and let's go ahead and do cover 2 this time. Right? Just want to make sure that we're talking about the first option. This is our read. If that guy's open, we don't have to look at anything else, right? That's kind of the way I want to build this video, so you can kind of see this is our first option. Cover 2, what are you seeing? You're seeing 2 different safeties, right? McCourty and Phillips. Now they're too high. They're wide. Typically speaking, you're going to get outside leverage on your corners, but in the red zone, it's kind of hard to see because it's so congested. But what you want to do is you want to see, and you're reading this guy, right, McCourty. If he sprints to the left, you know that it's going to be cover 2 because he's going to try to get some width. If he just kind of stays there, it's cover 4, and you don't want to throw that. So I'm always looking at that player. If he kind of sprints as he does here, you're going to be able to throw that ball really easily because he's going left, all his momentum's going left, and you throw that ball, okay? So cover 3, cover 2, real simple, you're throwing that, okay? Now, what if they're going to cover 3, and they basically take that player away, okay? So let's set it up, and everything's set up. We're going to assume that this player right here is the user, and he's going to take away that seam. Maybe he's seen this before. That's where his main thing is. We're going to take that play away, right? So that means once we see that the guy's over, he's no longer going to be a viable threat. We need to have a second one. The second one here is going to be the zig. And like I said before, the B is going to pull the curl flat or the cloud flat or the hard flat all the way to the outside, leaving the zig pretty much open. And I'll show you basically how this works. He cuts in, he goes here, and we're really good to go. Okay, now everything worked together on that. I want to make sure you understand that. The thing that the design is for is that we're trying to get the curl flats to basically go, and you can see how this guy's sprinting over here to get to the wide side of the field because 83 is in his grid per se, right? So he gets wide. Now the slant is what basically takes the yellow zone, and even though he's playing the zig, he's going to hold him there, and once he holds him there in the middle, this guy's going to be wide open, right? And so now you've got an easy cover 3 beater. Now you're looking left first, and take it away, you're throwing right. Okay, so cover 3 is good, right? Now let's talk about cover 2. All right, so Tampa 2 here. Now let's do the same exact thing. We're going to put this guy in motion, X on a smart routed in. We're going to put the A on the zig, RB on the slant, and you're going to do the same thing. You can see the A is going to go in, it's going to come out, and then you're going to see how you're going to be able to hit that guy. Now this is going to be a little bit more congested, but at the same time, you're looking at it from a 2-yard dot. That guy is going to basically, the further you get back, have a little bit more success of getting underneath the cover 2. As long as you've got some type of ability on him, it's your best receiver, you're going to see that you're going to have some good success with this, right? So here we go again. I just want to make sure you see this. Here's against cover 2. And again, you know that the Y is going to be your guy. If he's not open, then you're going to see that this guy's going to get underneath. And then you can see how this guy is now a little bit more open the further you go back. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand that there's very good use in this. Okay, so cover 2, you kind of got both of those covered because you've got the dot on the left, they have to cover it. If they don't, you got the dot on the right. Now let's talk about basically cover 4 drop, right? I'll get a little closer just so we can kind of get in the same spot that we were talking about. Now cover 4 drops can be very similar to cover 3 on the right side. Because it's basically got the curl flat, it's got a hook, it's got basically the outside quarter. Yes, this guy's an extra defender, but he's nowhere near where we're going to want to attack. So we're kind of in the same boat as we did cover 3, right? So the only difference is that the Y is going to be covered this time, right? So what you're going to see here is you're looking at that it looks like it's cover 2 because you got those 2 safeties, right? If that guy does not widen out, you can't throw it to the Y. So you're looking at, he doesn't widen out, you're looking at this A, and you can see how we're going to get that guy right on the side, on the goal line, right? So that's what I really like about this. It's kind of a 1-2 punch. If you look at the replay, let's go ahead and take a look at it just so you can see what other things are there. So basically, I want to make sure you see this. This guy right here does not fly to the left. So he kind of stays in the middle. At this point, it's not a great throw to test him because he's in that passing lane, right? Can't take that, right? Now, if you go over here, what you're going to see is that this guy is going to be the guy that's open, and you're going to be able to throw it. Now, if the user goes and takes that, typically the user in this situation is going to be the guy that's the hook curl, which this is basically the hook curl. If he takes the 17 like he does here, right? Actually doesn't, he stays there, but say he does, that leaves the slant open. So he's got to stay in the middle for the slant, and that's why you're typically going after this player right here, and you're going to be able to hit him, right? So that's kind of why it kind of works out in this regard. It's a 1-2 punch with the slant and the zig, depending on who the user covers. He takes the middle player, which normally that's what they're going to do. They're going to leave the outside open, and you hit that. Now, what if we back up? I want to show you basically why I like this play against cover 4. I just back up just past the 10-yard line. No big deal. This route right here, let's get to cover 4 out, does a really good job, the A route, of getting to the sidelines and getting open. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do the same thing with the X. Okay, so we got him on smart route out. Now we're going to put the RB on a streak, and we're going to put the B on a zig. If I motion this guy and hike it right when it gets to the hash marks, we're using a different type of beater. I'm going to hike it right here, and you're going to see how this A is going to get to the sidelines, and nobody's going to cover him. Right? So that's another cover 4 drop beater that you can definitely implement in order to make sure that you've got the ability a little bit further. Say you don't want to do the zig anymore because you're outside the 10. just do something like this, right? So this is against cover 3. Just going to kind of show you that you've got the option on the left. You can see that the zig comes over here, and now you're going to see how you got the option on the right? So it's kind of a nice 1-2 punch depending on what you're looking at, that depending on how you want to attack it, you're in good shape, right? And that's really what we're trying to show you here is when you build a red zone play, you really want to make sure that you've got all your bases covered. This isn't a great man beating play. The zig will beat man, if that's something that you're, wanting to, go one-on-one with. So, say this is a cover 2, we'll put the zig on there. You're going to see that typically speaking, when you do something like this, you've got your slant, you've got your zig, and that's kind of your 1-2 punch. But again, what you're going to see here is, that guy will get open, but you're going to kind of want to make sure that the guy's got, some good route running and whatnot. The zig doesn't typically get any boost when it comes to route running because it doesn't have it's got such a tight angle that it doesn't give you anything that lights up. But it is a route for sure. You definitely want to make sure that you kind of look at it and see, where everybody's played, and if they look like they're head up or they're slightly to the inside of the player, then you should really see that it is man coverage, and you could definitely use the zig or just check into something else. So hopefully this play definitely helped you out. Make sure you hit that like button. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to hit the 35,000. We're about 100 people away. Love to get that support if you guys enjoy our videos, and we'll catch you on tomorrow's video.